What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, welcome back to the BMW. We got some recycling and trash where the Tesla normally is. So we got the wall outlet there to charge it. That's right. I left the Tesla in Florida. Guess we're doing Tesla Talk Tuesday in a BMW X3. Whoa.
A bribe of $200,000.
Whoa. I don't know what's going on there. Don't mind the radio. Anyways, guys, welcome back to BMW, I guess. So we have the BMW for the week. You see, I did a 1,000-mile road trip from Maryland down to Florida with my Tesla Model S P85. It's a 2014 with almost 102,000 miles on it, and we left it there. Yeah, see, I had to come home for the week. I'm home for a few short days. I actually leave in like, what, 3 days by the time you guys watch this probably. And, well, yeah, we're stuck with the BMW until then because, well, I'm gonna be down in Florida for another month or so at least. And I wanted my Tesla down there because obviously the Tesla's actually the ultimate driving machine. I don't really think the BMW is. More on that later, probably another video. Anyways, let's get out of here. Let's get on to Tesla Talk Tuesday. But first, if you guys enjoyed the content, please consider liking and subscribing. Let's get on the road. Oh, look, guys, we got a Bentley Continental just cruising down 270 right there. Not too shabby. So first and foremost, I do want to say thank you so much to everybody who has liked, subscribed, commented, all that good stuff. We're at 850 subscribers, which is not that great compared to like people that do this full time. But I do really appreciate the support and the interactivity between people who comment on videos and whatnot. So thank you guys so much. But Tesla earnings are tomorrow after the bell. Now they've already reported deliveries, which was like a little over 112,000 vehicles, which was the most ever. So awesome there. The real question is, what's their revenue going to be and what are their earnings per share going to be? Last quarter they had a huge surprise beat. Ooh, Tesla Model X. Obviously we got to check out the Tesla because I miss mine. Now last quarter they had a huge beat on EPS. They were expected to lose like 23 cents per share or something around there. They actually had positive earnings per share of like $1.86, something crazy, right? So they blew it out of the water. The stock skyrocketed. It's trading at all-time highs. I think pre-market this morning it's up another 10 points at like $560 some per share. It hit an all-time high of 598, 94, just under $600 per share, all-time high within the last month or whatever. It's been a crazy 2020 for Tesla. It's been a crazy last like 3 months for Tesla. The stock has just rallied, I don't know, over 100, 150 points, something crazy like that. So yeah, we have earnings tomorrow. So revenue is expected at just over $7 billion. EPS is supposed to be $1.62 per share. Now I guess like crowdsourced estimates are slightly higher, like 7.1 billion, and I think EPS of around like 1.7, 1.72 per share. So the real question is, can they beat on EPS again? Revenue, I think you want to see an increase in revenue for sure, but if they miss slightly on revenue, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. However, the stock has rallied so much that I think people are going to try to look for a reason to sell it or take some profits. Also, you're going to have the short sellers looking for a reason to say like, oh, Tesla's not doing as good as they should be, blah, 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 blah. They're just wrong. Anyways, Tesla's been crushing it, obviously. So the real question is, what are their profit margins looking like? Anyways, I'm very excited for earnings and hopefully they do well. But, you know, I'm not going to be surprised if there's a pullback since the stock has rallied so much. I would just see it as another buying opportunity. And then the other interesting thing is they were focused on, at the call last quarter, they said they were focused on getting out all of the cars that they've made and on I think like solar and solar roof installation and delivery. So I'll be interested to see like how much that segment has grown for them and what the actual like deliveries look like with regards to Tesla Solar and that segment that they have as well. So 2 things to kind of look for, but I would also be interested to hear, I think they're doing like a battery and drivetrain day or something in the future, and they may speak to that briefly. But yeah, obviously EPS is going to be a huge thing for them, and then revenue maybe not quite as important, but EPS for sure. So the Rivian R1T and R1S are the truck and SUV that Rivian had announced, I think about 2 years ago now, in 2018, and they have gotten investments in the billions of dollars from companies like Microsoft and Amazon. I think Amazon actually wants an order of like a fleet of trucks made by them or something, and have invested maybe over $100 billion or something in the company. So very interesting stuff. But they have recently said that the price that they originally announced of like just under $70,000 as a starting price for their truck will actually be the price of a well-equipped, thank you Waze, a well-equipped truck with a 300-mile range. So that is at least, I think, the mid-range or high-range capacity battery that Rivian will offer, but also a well-equipped truck at that. So with incentives, people are kind of speculating that the base price could be closer to $50,000, maybe less. And there's also a question as to whether the Tesla Cybertruck, the base price of around just under $40,000 is what influenced Rivian to try to drop prices. However, if you look at how these trucks are made and the shape and all that stuff, Tesla has a huge advantage over the way the truck's manufactured, made, and the assembly process, seeing as how it's made with those flat panels of cold rolled steel that aren't painted, and well, they're just flat pieces that you stamp and you're good to go. So if Tesla can pull this off and have good margins and come to market before Rivian with lower price points and all that stuff, I think they're going to have a large advantage. Although I think people are very excited around these Rivian trucks as well. There are some cool features such as a tank turn where it can literally do like a 360 in place without moving. However, this is more suited for off-road, but they released a cool video on it, I think around the holidays. So yeah, check that out if you haven't. I believe it's on their Instagram. But yeah, Rivian's doing some cool things as well. You can pre-order one with $1,000 deposit. The Cybertruck is only $100 deposit, but it'll be interesting to see the final like spec sheets of these trucks once they come out, how I guess the EPA rates them as far as range and mileage that you can get out of them, and what the actual base prices are, what if any options there are. I know Tesla has really scaled back options. I would expect minimal options, I guess, on the Cybertruck. I think they're trying to include a lot of things so that they can streamline production process and really make what would be the differentiating factors, the maybe like the Cyber Quad, and then potentially the battery or the range of the truck. But in order to streamline things, it's just easier to sort of make the same thing over and over, and you sell them at different price points based on the range that you get. Also, whether or not they're dual, single motor or tri-motor variations, at least for the Cybertruck. The Rivian R1T and R1S, I believe both will be quad motor, so they actually will have a motor on each of the wheels. So that's what allows you to do the tank turn, because you can have motors on opposite sides of the vehicle going in opposite directions, and yeah, that's how you get the tank turn. So it is interesting stuff, and I can't wait for both of these to come out and see what happens with pricing going forward for these, as well as other companies that potentially come out with like an electric Hummer that GM has claimed they're going to make. So lots of cool stuff coming out in the next probably year or two. So it's just a matter of, you know, who gets there first and what do the final spec sheets look like, and then also who has a cult following, because Tesla's kind of crushing it there. So yeah, we'll see. So some other cool stuff is there's a hacker notorious for finding I guess like Tesla features before they actually come out, because he has root access to the Tesla software. And what this simply means is he can basically see the source code, and well, sometimes they push code that's not actually in production, so maybe it's commented out or something like that, but it is on the vehicles. So I think he discovered things like Spotify and maybe some games before like Tesla released them. But recently he has found that there will be different variants for I think Model S and X batteries, potentially a different type of charger. So we know that like in Europe they have a charging standard of CCS, and the charge ports are a little bit different, I believe. So it could be interesting to see what actually appears and is available on future US variants of Teslas and whether they stick with the charge port that they currently have, or if they move to something else and maybe add adapters or whatever for backwards compatibility, or if they just add ability for CCS capabilities through an adapter that they then sell or offer with the cars. So interesting to see that. They also have reports of lumbar, something with lumbar support or changing that. So potentially new seats or upgraded seats or just other seat options in the future. However, this might also be something that is only available for cars in the Chinese market. So I am excited to see what actually is going to be released with new potential Model S and X, like refreshes, what the battery sizes are, if there's plaid mode, tri-motors, all that good stuff. So lots of interesting things potentially coming out in 2020. So the Tesla hacker also found that there will be inductive charging for phones. So for example, the new iPhones you can put on like a charging pad, same with like Samsung's, that QI, key, I don't know if it's pronounced that way, but that inductive charging ability for phones. And then in addition to that, new suspension. So it could be slightly reworked suspension that's already in the cars with more capabilities or functionality, but something new involving the suspension. So some interesting new features that could be coming out this year on either new cars or existing cars, but nonetheless, it is interesting to see these things. And it is neat to see that a lot of features sometimes can be pushed through software updates, but it does appear that a lot of these new findings could potentially be new hardware things. So that's where you might see them in a new plaid powertrain, Model S and X, for example, or Chinese only made Model 3s if you're looking at, you know, specific seats in those markets. Something else that is very cool that Tesla has done in the past with not only their cars but also their Powerwalls is sort of like emergency situation adjustments. So when there have been hurricanes in the past, software range locked cars, they've unlocked in order to let them drive further, such as I think the 60 kilowatt Model S's were actually like 75 kilowatt batteries or 70 kilowatt batteries. So they basically unlocked that extra range, and they've given people free unlimited supercharging during times where there's a disaster maybe going to hit. So right now in China with the coronavirus outbreak, a lot of public transportation has sort of been, you want to stay away from that. So Tesla has said that for the time being, free unlimited supercharging for everybody in China until this sort of dies down, or I guess gets better and public transportation is more viable and feasible. You don't have to really worry about necessarily catching the coronavirus. So it is neat to see that Tesla just sort of does this preemptively. Nobody asks them to do it, but they're able to just do this through software updates, which is pretty sweet. So it'd be almost like if gas stations were offering free gas for people traveling during these times. I mean, Tesla's basically subsidizing all of the electricity that these cars are using to charge. And that's a pretty awesome thing. So it is cool and definitely notable to see that they're doing this at a time where, you know, people may need to travel, get to loved ones, get to sick ones, and you don't want to risk getting further infected by other people. So awesome and very cool things that Tesla's doing with this. Well, on that note, I think that's going to be it for Tesla Talk Tuesday. Earnings tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited for earnings. Obviously, I do have a couple shares of Tesla. It's always tough to buy when they're trading at or close to all-time highs, but if they do well on earnings, they could skyrocket. They're a heavily shorted stock, and that's what can cause a short squeeze in it to go up a lot. However, people might be looking for a reason to take profits and or short the company more. Crazy people, I know, I don't really get it. So if they dip, buy more. I don't know. Do what you want. But earnings are tomorrow, so be on the lookout for those after hours on Wednesday. But otherwise, that's going to be it for Tesla Talk Tuesday. If you're enjoying the content, please consider liking and subscribing. And until probably tomorrow, thanks for watching.